Hello YouTubers, this is Luther McGinnis, a piano instructor, and I'm putting together a collage of instructional videos for piano students or potential piano students. Today I want to talk about how to, just basically a crash course on sight reading. In sight reading for piano you have two staffs that you have to deal with, or two clefts. The first clef is called treble clef, and that is where most of your music is written, most of your melody is written. It looks like a backwards S, and it's written on a staff with 5 lines and 4 spaces, like this. There's a formula in piano music, or in most music, that's written in treble clef, that utilizes treble clef, that allows you to read the notes, and it's constructed in a form of lines and spaces. These are the lines. The dots that I'm drawing are on lines. So the first line is E, second line is G, third line is B, fourth line is D, top line is F. An acronym I like to use is every good boy does fine. So those are your lines. Spaces will spell out face, F-A-C-E. Now this pertains to notes that are only on the staff. Now of course there are notes that can be read off the staff. For example, middle C is the first legend line below E. Each line skips every other note. So remember how I was explaining in the first video, from C on it's C, D, and then E. So if it skips every other note and it's going backwards, then you're skipping over D, because D is before E. So that note is a C. And it's indicated by a legend line in the middle, meaning that it's one legend line below this. This is a middle C. That's what it will look like. On the treble clef, which is utilized by the right hand, because that's where your melody is. Same thing on the F. Above F, the first legend line is an A with the stem pointed down. It looks like a C, but it means that it's one legend line above F. Remember, lines skip every other note, so it's skipping over G, and it's going to A. Just remember, after G, everything rotates back to A. On F, the F space, if you go one space beneath the F or below the F, that is a D. Because again, spaces, just like lines, skip every other note, so it will skip over this E, and it'll be D. So if F going backwards in alphabetical order, if you will, you're going to skip over E, and then that next space would be D. So this means one space below F. And it's denoted by being below F. And so on and so forth. That would be a B. That's one space or two spaces below F. D and then B. This is the C legend line here, where this middle C is on, but this is B as in boy, meaning below C. So it is actually two spaces below this F. And remember, spaces skip every other note. The left hand, and this is what makes piano different from other instruments, has another clef called bass clef. A bass clef is mainly written, or F clef is mainly written for your lower notes. In this case, middle C, being that it's neither high nor low, is actually off of the staff. The highest note on here is an A, the A below middle C. So in this case, it has its own formula. That's a little bit different. It's a line off. So the first line, instead of it being E, is a G. This is a B. This is a D. If you were to skip D, what will be the next line after D? You remember, line skips every other note. So instead of E, it jumps to what? F. After F, remember, after G, it rotates back to what note? It rotates back to A. So, good boys do fine always. Then you have your spaces. Instead of starting on F, like on the right hand, remember, everything is one off. So, this is one line off from E, which would be G. This is one space off from this treble clef, so this would be A. A, C, after C, what's two spaces after C? It'll be E. Actually, one space after C is E. But it skips, again, every other note, just like the lines skip every other note. So after E, in alphabetical order, the next space would be not F, but G. All cows eat grass. And these are just different formulas to help you kind of remember. But